Hi, if you are new here, I am Gail. I just turned 52 in Vilnius, Lithuania, and I am a Jamaican who lives in America, finally realizing my dream of traveling the world. I also happen to have ADHD. My friends have been telling me that I should share travel tips and travel guides and travel hacks and detailed itineraries. The problem is, that's probably never going to be my thing. I might share a tip here or there, but this page is not about becoming a travel expert, it is about chronicling a journey. I have ADHD. So remembering that I started out writing travel tips and guides is something that is very difficult for me. Plus, I'm also extremely spontaneous and impulsive. So every day is a new day. It's like 51st dates with me. A few years ago, I made a very difficult decision to walk away from a stable teaching career. It was one of the hardest decisions I had ever made. But once I committed to it completely, I focused on building my business. I worked harder than I ever worked before, and I refused to quit. It took me 2 years before I was earning a decent income again, but I never doubted my decision. I had no idea what kind of life I would have after I quit my teaching job, but I knew it could not have been so full of anxiety and burnout. I just knew that there had to be something better. Along the way, I made another decision. I was no longer going to wait. I wasn't going to wait until I reached a certain age. I was not going to wait for a certain income level. I was not going to wait until I had a certain amount of money in my bank account before I started living the life I wanted. I did not subscribe to that work until you reach retirement and then live. I don't believe that. I believe the sole purpose of life is to be happy. And my happiness is in doing the things I want to do. And right now, that is travel. Now, I don't have to make a lot of money. I don't make a lot of money, but I prioritize travel. And so that is the difference. When someone sees me travel, they go, "Oh, well, you is good for you. You make a lot of money." I don't make a lot of money, but travel is my priority. I don't have a new car, so I save at least $500 a month on a car note. Because of my car being not an expensive younger car, my insurance costs less. I don't drink alcohol when I go out to eat. Surprisingly, the amount of money, if you ever calculate how much you actually spend on drinks when you go out to eat, you'd be very surprised. I drink water most of the time just because I don't really drink alcohol. On my trips, you'll see otherwise, as in the case right here. But we were celebrating on a boat. We're getting a boat ride down the Danube River. And they gave us 2 bottles of wine for the table. And so I had some. However, I save money in very different ways. I do not wear a bunch of brand name clothing. As a matter of fact, I generally sew my own clothes on my trips. I don't do that anymore because I don't have time to sew. But I shop on Shein. This lovely outfit that I'm wearing, asymmetrical top with the leather pants, I bought them on Shein. My boots that I was wearing, I bought them at the Goodwill store. So you see, I save a lot of money. I don't have to be rich to travel. Anyway, one thing about me, I am fearless. The only fear I have is letting my rose die on the vine. I refuse to let fear make my world smaller, and I refuse to be so afraid of dying that I never truly live. So I travel to places where people say, "What are you doing there?" I was in Vilnius exactly on not this day, but another day after this one. And somebody said, "I've never heard of that place." Why? While I was there, I saw a lady there, and she even asked me, why are you here? What makes people come here? I want to see the world. I want to see everywhere. And I'm not going to be afraid because somebody says, "Well, don't go there because you're a person of color," or "Don't go there because," I'm not listening to any of that. I am going. And comes what may, I'm a very quick thinker because I have ADHD. I'm a great problem solver. And so whatever comes, I will figure it out. But back to work. Thank God I did take that leap. I did, trade a stable paycheck and benefits and pension for freedom. You would not believe that I actually pay 13% of my income for income tax, and that is separate from the federal income tax. Maybe people don't know this about people who are self employed. I pay a lot of tax. You also are responsible for every single client you get. So any money I make, I have to work very hard for every single client. You also don't get paid time off. So if I'm taking time, I am going to be either off and not earning, or I'm going to be working. Fortunate for me, I am in a field or in a niche where I actually can work while I travel. So I am on a 14-day trip, but I'm working the entire time. So I'm walking with a tour group. They're saying XYZ, a client is calling me, and I'm answering. But that's the life I signed up for, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. Now, something that would surprise people about my trips is that I don't always have a big plan months in advance. The only trips I generally have planned in advance is when I'm going on a multi country tour with a tour group like Gate One or Expat Explore. Other than that, I'll be at the airport booking my hotel, or after I land, I will sit at the airport, catch my breath, and I'll book my hotel right there. As I said earlier, I am extremely spontaneous. I also sometimes do not book my excursions ahead of time. I get up in the morning and I go, hey, I want to go see this place, and then I book it. And if I can't book it in time, because that does happen, I woke up in Dominican Republic. I wanted a tour for the day. It was too late to book, but it just happened that I could not book it because I had a lot of stuff to do with work. And then with ADHD, you have to carve out time to focus because too many things are happening at the same time and your brain is trying to do all of it. So planning isn't easy. But I've missed tours, but I get up and I just hire a taxi, or I jump on a hop on, hop off bus and I go on my own. Or I take the train, which I did this the day after this day in Vilnius. But for me, navigating a train station in a language I don't speak, figuring out a bus route, wandering through a city I've never been before, or trying to decide what to do with my day is all a part of the experience. That is how I grow. That is how I learn. That is how I become a better and stronger traveler. This page isn't about perfection. It isn't a page about luxury travel. It is not a page about having all the answers. It's not a page of travel tips and guides. This page is about one person who chose to live a life fully, even if things are uncertain, messy, inconvenient, or even a little scary. I do not know if I'll inspire you. I don't know if I'll motivate you. I'm just sharing my story. Maybe you'll pick up a travel tip along the way. Maybe you'll decide to take a trip of your own, or maybe you'll simply enjoy coming along for the ride. Anyway, enjoy. I am Gail. Thank you for watching. Oh, and this is Monsi in Vienna. This is stunning. I would love to tell you that it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, but it is extremely beautiful. But try going to Switzerland. My God, those people know how to do a mountainside. I give you that much. And some lakes too. They know how to do some lakes. All right, I am Gail. Please follow. Um, Subscribe to my VIP channel where you can get to ask me all the deep, pressing questions you've always wanted to know. But either way, I love if you follow. Thanks for watching.